Hello, welcome to another episode of SoFly. It is actually May 3rd. We're recording episode, I don't know, 119 or 120, one of those two. And very excited to be chatting today about a trip that Aldo recently took with actually a friend of ours, an episode 42 guest, Kayla Lockhart, who we have on the show today. We're super stoked to be chatting. Kayla, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me again. I'm excited to now see your guys' faces.
I know, it's so
really
cool
good to be back, though.
Yeah, it's good that we're finally able to chat with...
guys, 120 episodes.
That's
pretty great.
Time flies, you know?
I know, it's pretty crazy. We had you on when we were calling people on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked it. It was great. You know?
And now we're like...
now somebody calls, it instantly is spam, and I don't answer, so...
Totally.
And now I actually talk a little more.
Go Yelma. Yeah. Yeah, it's just nice to be able to, see each other's faces and talk. But, definitely upgraded and trucking away. But, thanks so much for coming back on tonight to chat about this trip. It looked amazing. And actually, it was at the lodge that you talked about in episode 42 where you caught that huge permit, right? Ascension Bay Lodge.
Which that feels like decades ago, but that would have been 2019 then. It seems like so much longer though. That I go back every year. Obviously COVID, I was not able to go back for obvious reasons, but yeah, it's great to be back in the annual trip to Ascension Bay. I love it. It's one of those trips that I look forward to each year, and it's the best.
Although can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I don't. No, I mean, I was. It was such a fun trip and such a magical place.
He's got a good
you really found a gem there.
I am so glad that I got to experience it on full circle levels where it was, just like the little house, if you will, and had only slept 6 people. You all shared rooms. It's very like trout bum style, but I did love it personally. But it wasn't for everyone, and so seeing it there and to grow to what it is now is pretty great. And it speaks volumes of how good of a person Danny is. To be able to have that much growth in such a little amount of time is pretty incredible. And he's a good dude. He takes care of his staff because it's all his family or his wife's family, and then he's just best buddies with all of the guides, so he hires all his best friends to work for him, so he's got a good setup going.
That's wicked. So Danny's the owner of this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, Danny is the owner. He does have investor, which I haven't met George, but he kind of helped facilitate getting the lodge to what it looks like now.
Okay.
And as far as I know, he's just been also a big fan of going to the lodge and wanted a better way of being able to go all the time. So I think that was his ticket to do it from my perspective. Yeah. But everyone has always said that he's a great guy too. And pretty much if the guides that work their butts off the most say that so-and-so at the lodge that owns it is a good person, I definitely take their word over everyone else's, because they see the work side and they work the hardest too, by all means. And the guides are just some of the most stand-up people I've ever met. They're just great humans. And so as much as I love Danny, his team of guides are pretty incredible people too. Good
crew over there, eh? Yeah.
Really
well, maybe
crew.
Before we get into talking about this specific trip, why don't we just talk a little bit about the lodge and where it is and what kind of fishing is there and kind of all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And who you missed coming, because only Aldo came.
True. Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, we missed you guys. We obviously missed you guys.
It was not nearly as fun without you guys. I already just know that that's true. Yes.
Well, funny enough, Yelma, when we went down to, have our very first saltwater trip, it was in Mexico and it was in the same area-ish. Obviously, if we're in the Yucatan and the Mayan Riviera, you land in Cancun. You drive south through Playa del Carmen, Akumal, Tulum, and then after Tulum is the Sian Can, the big biosphere there, and or national park, whatever you want to call it. And then we would stop at the bridge in Boca Paila and fish there every day. But that's actually We went
Right, you went
past
around.
Yeah,
and to the town.
Right.
Of
so yeah, you go past the bridge and then you literally just stay on that dirt road until you get there. And it's Punta Allen is the Allen Point. It's named after this guy named Allen. That I don't know if he discovered it. I don't know enough about the history, but I just know that it's named after a guy. And his last
Named
name
Alan.
but-
That's amazing. Alan.
Yeah,
What a generic name, you know.
Very right. And I don't know the story about it, but I am curious. I should find that out.
Yeah.
I have Punta Allen tattooed on my arm even. That's
Oh,
how much
amazing.
I love this place.
Oh man, amazing.
But
I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah,
It's an
and
amazing place.
that trek from the bridge can be anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours, depending on how bad the road is. And so luckily, Danny's got it dialed as long as I'm good at making sure people's flights are on time.
Right.
About having the guides pick us up with the boat, which is a pretty great way of, you're coming in from the inside of Punta Allen, and you're in these boats from the bridge, and you're just going off of these flats, and you maybe see dolphins and manatees, and the sun is setting. It's pretty incredible. And then you make this turn, and you see the lighthouse, and that's kind of your indication that you're practically there, and you pull up right to the beach on the lodge. I mean, it's a pretty great way to start a trip.
That is
You're
a
just,
really cool way to
stacking
start.
all your bags in a boat, like a little panga, and just stumble onto the beach, and you're there, and they're waiting for you with margarita. Like, you feel spoiled. It's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So that's actually how you get to the lodge. Like you get there by boat. Like that's how you get to the beach. That's so
I feel
sick.
bad for all of the previous trips that people went on with me because me and Casey have always been the reason that we never made the boat because we fly in from Portland. And from Portland to Cancun, it's so far. We never could get a flight that would land in time.
Yeah.
And we just are, what's the best? We're broke as fuck. And so we just couldn't afford to rent a place the night before in Cancun.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, it's fine. We'll just take a shuttle van and we'll get there at midnight. It'll be fine, guys.
Oh wow. Man. So the van like just takes you down like trails to the lodge, basically. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's
There was one road,
it's a
bumpy
tough
road.
road
dirt
too.
road
Like
that
even
it's tough.
it's like the vans literally go like 1 mile per hour because it's just like
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Well, you remember
I
that
do.
road, Yoma? We did it every day for 7
And then
days.
one day,
Is that the same road?
one day I went a little fast, and a cop stopped us.
Oh no way.
no, really?
Yeah,
Knock on wood. I still have not had any issues whatsoever since I've been down there.
Amazing.
he was fine.
And
He was fine. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me, and I just kept explaining, and he was just being quiet in case I kept putting my foot in my mouth, and then eventually he was like, "All right, go," and then that was it.
Oh,
It was very
That's
scary.
Easy enough.
Well, it was nice eventually, but leading up to that, I was
Just
oh,
shaking.
sorry.
Don't speed, Yoma.
just don't speed.
Don't speed.
Yeah,
Especially in a wilderness
Yeah, and
position.
well, you guys have kilometers there for your cars.
yeah.
So it's the
Yep.
same for you. When I'm
Yep.
in there, I'm like, how fast am I going?
Yeah.
Let me figure this out.
Love it. Okay, well, by boat. That's a
Yeah, I was gonna say
Aldo, please.
yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. No, we were both about to say
Yeah.
the exact same thing. Like where I don't know. Again, going back to our trip there, like that bridge where we watched the saltwater crocodiles do their thing. You know, that's where we got picked up. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long drive. But then, surprise, surprise, like we're getting picked up at the Boca Pilot Bridge, and like right at sunset, like Kayla said,
Sick.
right at sunset, the whole going through all the flats in the mangrove system, and then you just arrive at the beach, and you land on the beach,
Awesome.
palm
Yeah.
trees doing their lazy thing, and then Danny's staff is there with fucking
That's
margaritas.
so good.
Like, okay.
So the hospitality of this place is like amazing.
It's
Like they've got it down.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, even like
It's
I've never felt more like a slob in my life. Like they fold your dirty clothes. Like you get back from fishing and you walk
Yeah.
in your room and I'm like, oh, I feel like so bad. Like they probably think I'm such a messy person.
Oh,
I know. I thought this.
Their attention to detail is just like insane. Like I think it speaks volumes with how he treats his staff too. Like he genuinely cares so much. Like when COVID hit, the lodge obviously was impacted, and he was hiring people to just go get him gas, like anything that he could do to like help everyone out because it's such a small community, and he really cares a ton about it. Like he's from Austin, Texas. he was a guide in Colorado for a long time, and
Yeah.
so he's not from Mexico by any means, and so for him to like uproot his life, find his wife there in this tiny town that's ran up on a generator only from certain hours of the day too.
Oh,
Like, I
wow.
can't imagine what that would have been like, that shift. Obviously, it was something that he wanted and it was intentional, but he cares so deeply about everyone, and you can just tell when he like just walks to the soccer field, everyone's like, Danny, Danny, Danny.
That's
So
awesome. So he's like really
he's
part of the
awesome.
community there
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
He's a huge part of the community, yeah.
cool.
He's his guides, he
Yeah.
sponsors his guides to have a football game is what they would call, but soccer.
Yeah.
And he
I
like
love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
has
you
the
would've
like
loved it.
Ascension Bay
You'll
Lodge
like-
jerseys, and they're like tie-dyed with purple and pink, and he's just like, they're all his homies, and like they're all just making fun of each other and talking shit. Like they just have such a great banter between everyone. That was also fun too. The night we arrived, he was like, all right, everyone needs to hurry up and eat because we get a town football game and the entire town shows up and you can't miss it. So it's pretty cool. Like you just walk around and
That's
start to
awesome.
feel like a local, and you start to really understand why somebody would fall in love with this place, because the community is so awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, it's it's a town of 500 people. I have to imagine it's probably what Tulum maybe at one time looked
Right?
like, and that's why people freaked out and moved there. It's like Tulum before it was Tulum. 500 people. There's that sand soccer
It's
field in
sand,
the middle
like,
of it, basically.
Running in it looks so hard.
Hard. Well, we found out eventually. And yeah, the first night you're there, we all just went and watched soccer, and the whole town was there, like having beers.
Wow,
and
cool way to
partying.
start it.
Like it was a really cool way to start the trip.
Yeah, it was
cool.
perfect.
Okay, so then the next day, I guess you kicked it off. You got into fishing. That's when it started.
Yeah, first day out.
I saw the chart.
Pretty-
I saw the.
Yeah, we had a little playful competition, if you will.
Yeah.
It's just fun. Like we had a great crew too, for like not everyone knowing each other.
Yeah.
That's always like the hardest thing about those type of trips is when you get a bunch of people that fly fishing is in common, but that doesn't always translate to deep relationships by any means. We all know that. And so it was pretty great that everyone had a great sense of humor. Everyone was pretty laid back. Nobody like had big
Very
egos.
laid back.
Like that's pretty much all I care about is if there's no egos, you're
Yeah.
down to have a good time, and you just are humbled constantly about how you're in an incredible place and the fish is a bonus. Like that's pretty much my goal of all of these trips too, is just for people to be present, really appreciate where they are, and also like admire the community environment too. But yeah, so the first day we all
Yeah.
I mean, no one got skunked, really. Me and Aldo had an amazing day. We broke off a giant permit snow. Oh, my goodness.
That's what Aldo was texting us. He's like, I just lost a table.
Yeah, I
of
was
This
like-
fish was really big.
Oh, yeah?
It was it
Oh,
was
man.
wild.
And it's like, it happened so fast. I mean, for me, at least, speaking from my experience, it happened so fast. I didn't even have time to process and be like, whoa, wait, what happened?
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, both of we were lines peeling real quick, and then
Yeah.
I could tell like when Aldo was on with his fish, I could tell with Pedro. Pedro was like in full focus mode. The guy who's just because he didn't obviously want it to break up, but he knew because he knows the water's there. He knew where the structure was, where that fish was heading. Like he could predict the future, and I was just like, "Woohoo! Fish are on, buddy!"
That's awesome.
But
We heard that story too.
I was fucking.
Yeah, what was
just
Aldo
freaking
like?
out
What
the
was
whole
the
time.
story? Like, what happened?
Yeah. Okay. So the amazing first day happens. The boat ride. I guess we should probably mention this is a hosted trip that Kayla
Yes.
does every year as well, and like invites friends and so this might be if people are listening, Kayla. I don't want to make assumptions, but I think you're doing this next
Oh,
year.
yeah.
So
oh yeah,
You know,
I was already good. I already got.
people are
I already got
interested.
your email drafted.
people named
Like
Mitch.
that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. People named Mitch and
I'm
Yilma.
coming.
Hell yeah.
So I was actually, it was around Christmas time, I think, and I was just, on Instagram as I do, and saw that Kayla had an extra spot, and I was like, I'm down if you still have it, and that's how it all happened. And then Kayla was like, okay, but shotgun first day fishing with you, and I was like, obviously. And so we come in, we have that great night, we have awesome dinner, the soccer game, the lodge is amazing. Like I think mentioned that it was renovated to fit more guests, but it's not these aren't big lodges. Now, I wouldn't even say like walking by all these places that I recognize from magazines like Palometa or whatever. You know, these are still
Yeah, that's
little,
true. That's a good
you know,
point, too.
little
People
lodges.
wouldn't
It's like
understand that.
it's 5 or 6 rooms.
Okay.
Double occupancy, so there's like 10 guests at a time. So it's you know, it's not this big huge lodge, you know, at all really. And so you do get that community feel. I can imagine if you know, there was a group there that didn't know each other, you know, you would know each other by the end of the week there, and it would be
Because
really,
you're like sharing
really fun.
a building.
Also, it should be noted that Danny like runs it kind of like an all-inclusive. I hate cheapening it with that word, but
you don't have to stress out
all the drinks, all the food, all the whatever. You can drink as many margaritas
He
and
wants
eat.
to party with the crew just as much as anyone else.
He knows like what's fun.
That
People
his,
want.
and hopefully I'm not just like grandfathered in on that, because I don't know if he does that for everybody. That could be a good question for him.
We're just blowing him up.
I don't know. He has, for me, always had like all the liquor included, but that's not the case for a lot of the other lodges. A lot of the other lodges you have to pay for it and stuff. Because I mean, it could go either way. You could have a crew that doesn't drink at all, or a crew that is
sends
full
it.
party, sending it, and could bleed you dry. But it's a good program, and
full send.
It's cool because him and Arturo like become part of the crew too. We're all like playing darts together, or drinking.
Arturo's
stories.
a bartender.
I love when that happens.
And he's a good storyteller too, so he's fun to hang out with.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You're seeing the same people every day, right? Like you get off the boat and the same people greet you. To my God, they take your rods, they spray them down. And, anyway, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway,
wow, they do that. That's
it's
great.
So awesome.
Yeah, Marcos is
wild.
Mari's brother, who is Danny's wife, so his brother-in-law. And as soon as you like even get up to the lodge, he's already grabbing him and putting him on this little thing and hosing him all down. And then Danny he says that he had a dream.
Yeah, the hospitality is like.
Oh yeah, it's the best. But yeah, Danny's got like a locked vault for all of your rods too, and he's like, I had a dream one night about this locker. I'll have to send you guys a photo of it. Take a photo of it. But essentially, it's just like a closet with big PVC pipes that he puts all the rods in and lock them in. They used to go in the garage, which is still fine, but it's nice that they're all in one locked up location, not.
Yeah.
And you never have to break them down. Oh yeah, the other thing is, so the people on this trip was like Kayla, her husband, partner Casey, was an awesome photographer. Clay from Farbank, was an awesome dude, and another wicked photographer. Boone, who is an amazing photographer too, and his partner Paula, and then this awesome guy Drew, and Mike, who I shared boat with a lot from Colorado, and this guy Tyler. But a lot of people from Reddington, so we had like 400 rods.
We had so many. And we didn't break any. That's the best part.
Yeah, which was great.
It.
Yeah. So we wake up, Kayla's like, okay, yeah, it's me and you. We get matched with Pedro, he's, am I right in saying he was one of the more senior guides?
Yeah, he's
the head
the
guide,
top dogs,
even?
for sure. He's one, too, that, like, no matter what species you want to catch, like, he's going to go for a permit, whether you want to or not. He's kind of known for that. But he's very good at what he does. I mean, none of the guides are either, from my experience at least, ever like make you feel like you're incapable of doing anything. Like they're always like, oh, it's okay, you'll get another shot. Like they're so easy and chill and calm, which is nice.
That's good.
Very chill, very knowledgeable, and generous with their knowledge too, so because that's that's what I like. I like learning. Like I don't know anything about permit. I don't know anything about the fucking ocean, like I something I rarely do. So it's cool being able to chat with them. And what's neat there, maybe it's Kayla, is it unique to Mexico where you get a senior guide and a junior guide? So you have 2 guides per boat.
Huh.
So this one's on the poling deck, and one's on the bow with you at the same eye line, helping you spot the fish that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Homies.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've only had that actually at Ascension Bay Lodge, because I've had guide trips out of Bocapala, because there is the Fisherman Lodge there, and it was only one guide there. I'm trying to think if the other I'm not sure exactly. Well, I had Grand Slam, and I only had one guide with that, so it could just be
Ascension
Bay Lodge,
I
but
loved
I
it.
don't know for sure on that. Danny would definitely know on that. But yeah, essentially they have the head guide, which is the senior guide, and then the junior guide is essentially apprenticing under him, and so that's
Okay.
kind of how they kind of like get their hours in to get up to head or prove themselves.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people like they're dying to be junior guides. There's so there's always someone else that wants your spot, and so they definitely take that very seriously too. And the head guide teaches the junior guide as much as they can, even teaching them how to fly fish, how to tie knots. Like some of them have never even fly fished before. And then don't be let some of them fool you though, because you could think that they don't know and they're telling you, and then they grab your rod and all of a sudden do one cast and you're just like, what?
Right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're all very good.
Yeah, they know what's going on.
They're really good anglers too, and a lot of them fish in their free time in general too. But yeah, so it's nice having that junior guide up with you because they're making sure you're not stepping on your line. They're making sure it's not tangled on anything in the boat. They're also just grabbing your line as you're stripping it in so that it's not getting sucked under the boat.
It's amazing.
They're at your level, and sometimes they'll grab your rod and just point it to where the fish is. If you're not seeing it, they can see exactly what direction you're looking at. So the head guide, obviously that
You have to see the fish.
you must see the fish.
You must see the fish.
They will say that. They don't want you casting.
I heard that. I heard
Yeah.
that a bunch. Yeah, no blind casting.
'Cause
You
you
must
speak
see the fish.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially for permits, sometimes you get one shot.
Right.
And if you blow it, you blow it. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, having those two
cool.
guys
Yeah.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they like it too. It helps them a lot too, because with permit, you'll a lot of times get out of the boat if you're flats fishing for them, and that junior guide will go with you, and the head guide will stay up there and be able to recognize what the fish is doing.
Yeah.
And they communicate to each other.
Yep.
So it's really, really beneficial.
It's a really cool setup. So anyway, we got on the it's a beautiful morning, right? It was a beautiful
Oh,
morning.
you're in Ascension Bay Lodge. Of course, it's a
And
beautiful morning.
of course,
Yeah.
true. Kayla and I get on the boat. We kind of putter around close to the lodge trying to find some permit. I think we spotted one or two, but it wasn't like a great shot
the first
or whatever.
Chunk of time, it was like we could have saw a tarpon, we definitely could have saw bones, but Pedro was definitely looking for permit.
Right.
And it's still the ocean, so they can know spots as well as they can, and it's still searching for fish just like any other saltwater game. But so that was a little slow start. It was definitely windy. I remember that. But
Oh yeah.
you can't control.
So then we roll out to like the middle of the bay. Is that fair to say?
I mean, it was
Ish.
not far from the lodge, but Pedro had a GPS coordinate. I knew that because he had his little device. He had a spot that he was like,
oh yeah, I'm
driving.
looking at the GPS driving.
yeah,
That's
he's like a
awesome.
little handheld one, and he's the only guide that I've seen with that. But maybe they all do, and maybe just don't use it all. But
Yeah.
he's definitely got takes it very seriously. So it could be just Pedro.
I love it.
So we anchor up on the spot, and then Kayla's on the bow, and I got the phone out, and like you said, I kind of blacked out. Like
Mitch.
All of a sudden, it was just like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
like 45 feet, and then Kayla puts a cast out, strips twice, and is like tight
Yeah.
It was cool.
on
Nice.
a
It was
permit.
cool. It was like 2 permit. They were coming right at the boat, and I saw them, and I make the cast, and I mean, Pedro was up with me, and so sometimes they'll switch if like I don't know their reasoning. My only guess is that the head guide is like, this is gonna happen. I want to make sure it happens. Like, I don't know if it's a control thing,
Right.
but anyways, he was up there with me, and he was like, wait. And I'm like a kid in a candy store. I was like, I want to strip this fly
So,
bad
yeah.
right now. Like, and he's like, okay, strip. and
Yeah.
he just wanted to make it perfect for
Perfect,
when,
yeah.
they know so much better. And like, they have way more patience than I do. But,
Yeah.
and I mean, he was ready to 1, 2, and the fish just charged right at it.
Yeah.
Was so honest and nice to me. Just completely ate the fly, set on it. Like, everything that you don't think is going to go right went right, which never happens. So, of course, it broke off. Like, that's always going to happen on those moments. But, I mean, watching that fish, like, charge to come eat the fly was pretty cool. And it was like
That
this
is cool.
I
little
mean,
Rio fly that it worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, breaking off was, I don't know. That's not giving yourself enough credit. Like this fish, we're anchored in.
Like what minute?
We're anchored in a deeper part of the bay, and like we're in like 4-foot swells.
Oh,
here.
wow.
Like, we're both like on the back, on the
pushing
bow.
the water
Like,
so much. It
Holy
was pretty
shnikes!
windy.
So you're just going up and down in these waves fighting this permit? Oh shit! Well, that's already crazy.
Yeah, I just started noticing that. Was it a balloon?
Oh, sorry, it was my lamp. Sorry if anybody watching at YouTube.
Slowly
saw part of
coming
my
in frame.
Slowly. What is that? A balloon deflate? Yeah. So Kayla's managing line in like 4-foot waves, hooks this fish. It dives straight for the reef that we're anchored on, and rakes the leader across the reef. And Pedro knew it was off before it was off.
Before I even knew. I'm still fighting it, and I was just like, no.
Oh, it's on.
I was like, and he'd say, and like your fish though, it ran the direction he wanted it to run, and then I don't remember how. They run so fast. It's like a split second, and all of a sudden it's over here. And then I have it on video of Aldo fighting it, and then you literally see Pedro like, good. Then him turn around, and then his face just like you could just see the whole situation.
Just go clear, yeah.
It was pretty great. It was awesome though. Like that fish just, gosh,
That's
your
cool.
fish was big though. Pedro thought your fish was 35 pounds.
Jeez.
Oh, Moses.
It was a
That's
big
huge.
fish.
It was
a huge
it was
permit.
wild.
It was a very nice permit.
It was. It was
Giant
Wow.
huge.
There was no
He told me
stopping
20 pounds at the time.
Wow.
He
Maybe
wanted
not
to go.
to.
That fish was going wherever he wanted.
Yeah.
Aldo!
Well, back to the blacking out thing. Like I've got the phone.
It was a nice.
Right?
That fish was nice.
I know. I had the phone out, like filming Kayla, and he's like, "Put the phone down. There's another 4 fish coming." I'm like, "What?" And I think like because I didn't have the hour or two of staring at empty ocean, that I just kind of like I said, I just kind of blacked out. I picked up the rod, stripped, Pedro's stripping line off my reel as I'm casting.
Already.
Oh, that's amazing.
And land the cast, like a good cast. I'm like, okay, didn't blow that. First strip, I'm on a fish. I don't trout set. I'm like, okay. And then the fish doesn't do anything right away. So I get the slack line on the reel.
He's like, what?
Whatever. Yeah.
I swear those big fish don't know that they're hooked sometimes.
It didn't, but then it really knew it was hooked. And then before I knew it, it was just like, boom. And then to your point, it ran away from the boat and the reef. And so we thought we had a chance. They were pulling the anchor up. And then it hit the brakes, turned back at the boat. Pedro's pulling in I'm reeling. He's stripping in line to keep it tight. And then it dives to the reef and
chaos. But
leader.
Oh, man.
It was chaos. It was great and fun and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had that day with you. That was fun. Because some people you never know.
So
like
fun.
after that happens, all depends on personality. But some people that could have been like a day ruiner, and like they're just bummed.
No, that was like that made my day.
They were like, "That was awesome!
Yeah.
Yours is gone, yours is gone.
We were
that was the most incredible. Like, it was just so fun to be able to feed off each other's energy, but also like both lose our fish.
I think if it was something that was like our fault, maybe it would have been more of a bummer. But it was just like, what are you going to do?
Well, you still had a permit on your line. You saw a fit. Like,
that's super rare.
This was my first cast in Mexico.
We set the bar too high day one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
But that was really cool. And then we kind of putted around the rest of the day. There was this giant barracuda that just wouldn't eat your fly. And then we ended
late
up
afternoon, definitely felt like the temperature felt like it cooled down too, which I don't really know how much that affects it. But we were just hunting for tails, and there's one cuda that was just would sit next to me just to toy with me, but would not even pay attention to my fly at all.
This thing was huge. It was like, it was huge.
He was playing Gangsters of the Flats for sure.
That's awesome. So you guys are just catching fish wise, like there's permit, but then bones.
It's pretty nice because you can. It's bonefish, tarpon, snook, jacks, triggerfish, permit,
right? Okay.
Barracuda. Trying to think of anything.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of everything. If you go to
snapper, if you really wanted to.
That area has the second biggest coral reef in the world, which I did not know until a couple years ago. And that you can go out to it and it'll be like, you know, the deep water on one side, the flats meeting it, and then the barrier reef right there. And there it's like a magical wonderland of species. Right. And nobody goes there because when they go to Ascension Bay, all people care about is catching a permit. Permit are amazing. But it's like this whole thing that like nobody fishes for. And I'm like, when I went there the second day with Sean, like I was catching triggerfish, you know, like
that's awesome.
Fish, like little jacks, like some fish I don't even know the name of, but they were like crazy colors. Like, it was pretty cool. And we did see permit there too. I didn't catch them, but I saw them.
So
you never know what you're gonna run into. And so I think that for me, I always have such a good time in Ascension Bay because I don't put permit on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they're great and it's always awesome, but they're not the only thing I care about catching.
No, for sure.
And honestly, you set yourself up for failure if you only want to catch permit. Like, I've gone days where we have spent 8 hours where Casey was searching for permit, and I was just like, going to sleep to it because like it's just you're just searching. It's a grind sometimes. But for me, I'm like, having a rod ready for any species is really beneficial down there. Like having a CUDA set up with the wire leader and having a tarpon set up, having a jack set up, like having those, or like even like the swivel where you can change your fly really fast. But stuff like that is really beneficial to have for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense because then you can just chase little reef fish or whatever, like catch and have a fun day.
Why not catch things you can't catch at home? That's
catching a fish in the ocean, like, it doesn't matter to me because I don't do it ever. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I'm just like, holy shit, look at this thing, you know? Like, so I feel you there.
Like it was like 20 I think it was last year. We brought the Reddington butter stick, the 8-weight down, and we were just catching all the random little fish, and it makes it so fun when it's on a fiberglass rod. Granted, you want to really hope that it's not super windy to cast, but like that's when like those smaller fish that like look really cool will feel also really fun to fight up to when it's a fiberglass rod. We ended up giving that rod to Pedro because he caught a bonefish on it. He's like, what is this thing? Because he's never seen a fiberglass rod. He's like, this is incredible. I was like, you can keep it.
I love that. The butter stick on the ocean is so cool.
Yeah, that would be
gosh.
Sweet.
I love it.
It'd be so much fun. But yeah, we finished our day back close to the lodge. We found a pod of baby tarpon.
Oh my god!
And like that's
cool.
That was some of the most fun.
Far away because we were like, I don't know, it didn't
going
look
to the lodge,
and he was like, from my perspective, but maybe I'm wrong. But to me, it looked like he must have saw the flash because it looked like we just like beelined right there. That was epic. I was getting
so
adrenaline because there was so many.
You were.
There was like 20 tarpon just rolling all around us. There were so many. And
that's amazing.
I love tarpon.
I was just like, cast. I was acting like I was the junior guy. I was like, shoot, set. I was like, down. My nickname from all the guides is Tran Kayla because I get a little bit excited.
It's awesome. I mean, I would get amped if I saw a pod of
that was
tarpon.
So much fun. Yeah, we hooked a
we
hooked a bunch. We landed a few, and
it was epic.
Yeah, it jumped like 7.
Sick.
It was so much fun.
That's so dope.
Those dang fish are smart though. I swear, like it's funny because like a juvenile tarpon, when you like compare it to the migratory, they seem small, but a juvie's like 30, 40, 50 pounds, like depending on which one you get. Like, so the fact that they're called juveniles is so funny, or even baby
misleading,
tarpon.
Yes.
Baby tarpon.
But I swear those ones are harder to land because they jump so much more. They can just use their head shakes with such force. It's so easy to come unbuttoned. But man, was that fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was a great first day.
Like
and then you get back to margaritas and ceviche and chilling at the lodge.
Margaritas and ceviche.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to end any day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And everyone caught or hooked fish that day, which honestly that doesn't always happen. You either get like some anglers that are really humbled about their first saltwater experience, which is so common. And then also it's still saltwater fishing. Like sometimes it just doesn't work out in your favor for fish, so it can go either way. So I was pretty like incredible that everyone caught fish that first day.
Yeah, Was there any like notable fish caught that day? Like any big permit?
For me, it would be a cobia because I've never caught one, and I've always thought they're really cool. They kind of look like a shark, if you will.
Okay.
And Drew caught that, and we saw one that
Huge
first day with
fish
by the permit, which I didn't get a really good look at it, but Pedro saw it. But he caught a really freaking big one.
What are they called again?
Looking.
Cobia.
Cobia.
Okay.
Yeah, you
and
have to Google it. They're cool looking.
Yeah.
Cobia.
And it was a big one, eh?
Kobe. Wait, you know,
Good one.
Oh yeah, these things.
Like, I never have seen one there before, so it's pretty cool to see that.
That's super
Which
cool.
is super
What a
rare, I
cool
heard, right?
looking fish.
I think that's from my understanding, and that's how like everyone treated it down there too. So
It's like
maybe that's a good sign. That's good.
yeah, it's very dinosaur-y. Also, like
They're so cool.
yeah, it's like a
looking.
snook, half shark kind of thing.
Yeah, like a hybrid. That's a great way of just explaining it. Yeah, they have
Somebody got a big one of those. Nice.
Yeah, Drew.
Yeah,
did.
Drew.
It was, he ended up.
This is first time ever
Oh,
seeing
And
wow.
he
That's
caught
awesome.
the most fish too over the whole trip.
It's usually how
Oh,
it is.
wicked.
Usually how it is.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
I love that though. Yeah, that was fun.
Amazing.
He got one of the tiny little trophies that I had.
Oh yeah, you brought some trophies along. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Smart.
those
That's smart. I like that idea.
little mini.
That is a
They're
good
like
idea.
tiny little baby ones,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah, we're
to
stealing.
hopefully portray that like this is all for fun, not like
Yeah,
I don't want anyone to actually get an ego behind it because you never know if it's a stranger how they're gonna react to like a trophy, and so
Right.
I wanted to make sure that it's still
Oh,
A small
was,
trophy.
playful
Yeah.
vibe going. But, so they're like the tiny little micro mini
That's hilarious.
golden trophies. They're great.
I love it.
Yeah, I proudly won the break off
did.
award.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
that was it. I mean, I kid you, like I wish that you guys could have seen that his permit was a freaking phenomenal fish. Like that's like a fish of a
blacked out.
lifetime type of fish. It's
So cool.
that's pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry
that's
I
a great
missed
first
out.
day, yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so sorry you guys missed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Next year.
I'm
Next
getting
year.
jacked on Ascension Bay. It sounds
Oh
like the
my
greatest
goodness.
place.
If there was no
Yeah, it sounds like the greatest
if there was
place.
no jet lag, I would have definitely come. If there was no possibility of a jet lag, because I was on a trip before I was in Greece. If it was like
No, he's
another
been talking
day,
about Greece since it's been weeks. He's been talking about Greece.
He's like a different. Kayla, he's a different person since coming
Every
back.
day
from
it's Greece this
Like,
and Greece
he-
that. Oh my god.
It's well in Greece, you know.
That's not how they do it in Greece. You know.
Well, how they do it in Greece is
Like, okay, Elma.
That is so funny.
But-
Oh my god, that reminds me of my friend Joey. He went to Europe one time,
Yeah.
like decades ago, and like with his girlfriend, he'd always be like, "Well, when I went to Europe,"
Yeah.
she's like, "That was 17 years ago."
Never forget.
Never would stop. It's the best. It's so funny.
I love it.
But I'm trying to go to Greece this June. I really, 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 really want to go, but we'll see. I don't know.
yeah, I have,
No,
I
no,
have
No, I will.
Kayla, I put together a whole PowerPoint presentation of my itinerary and everything that we've done, so I can always send it to you.
Wait, are you for real?
Yeah, for real.
What?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that actually.
Which is funny 'cause that's definitely more of an Aldo thing to do.
Like places to stay is pretty affordable, and that's what kind of like made me want to go.
Where?
In
Maybe.
Greece.
Yeah, I would say like if you're gonna pick an island that is more affordable, and depending on your budget, so it's hard to say, but I would say Paros.
Yeah, that's true.
Paros, Naxos are the less touristy, but the better, I think, more it's gaining in popularity. The food is also really, really delicious.
That's
See,
I just
here he
want
goes.
to be
Yeah.
sure that's all.
Here he goes again.
See, here he goes, Kayla. You're
again.
never gonna hear the end of
But
it, man.
if you want to spend a little bit more money but enjoy like that end of the earth view, I would go to Santorini for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend went, but I mean, granted, it could have changed. Like, she went in, like, it's like 6 or 7 years ago, and she's like, oh, it was so affordable. Like, Airbnb is like $50 a night. So maybe 7 years ago it was, but I really, really want to go there in Italy, and it doesn't seem like it's that big of a trek to do both in one trip.
No,
but
it's not. No, I did
I don't
Italy.
think so.
Still
But yeah.
one of my favorite trips.
Really? I mean, I've never been to Europe, and that's
One-
been like at the top of my list since I was a kid. So I, hopefully one day I'll make it.
So
there.
let me tell you about
Emma,
Capri.
send the
okay? Let me
PowerPoints.
tell you about Capri.
Here we go. Yeah,
I mean, I definitely want to know.
Cap-
Can we just stop this at that point, guys?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
There's
Greece.
fishing in Italy. We could all just do a trip there too, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be
That'd be
great.
sick.
I mean, fishing in the Alps
That'd be
is
super
pretty
cool.
I mean, yeah. We're gonna take a month off. We're
Fly
all gonna go
fishing in
to
the
Europe.
Alps.
We're just gonna fish our way, eat our way through it.
Oh my god, that sounds so fun.
Maybe Farbank will just pay for this. We'll pitch it to them. It'll be fine.
Let's go.
Let's
Go Farbank.
Farbank, did you hear us, Farbank?
Clay,
Yeah.
you listening?
I love it. All right, day 2.
So yeah,
No, I think we're on 3. Tarpon's 2.
I mean,
Oh, that was
No,
all
no,
day
that was
one.
the same for me.
My Atlanta.
yeah, I only spent one day on the boat with.
Pretty much day 2 was me and
was a big
Sean,
day.
and we were at the reef catching all those random fish. That was my day 2. Aldo was not with me
Yeah.
day 2 though.
Yeah.
No, we Mike and I, a gentleman from Colorado, we spent all day walking in the flats for bones, which is still
Fun.
by far one of my favorite thing
Yeah.
to do. And in the morning I was with Rafi.
Rafa.
Is it Rafa?
I've always liked that name.
Rafa. Him and I really got along, and
he's a good time.
Is
oh
he
yeah, he's
redhead?
a good time. I mean,
By chance?
No.
Okay, all right.
no.
So, and a lot of the guides are related. So Pedro and Oscar are brothers. They're both guides. And Rafa has his son and his nephews and his brothers. All are guides. So it's like just a family that all works for Danny. It's pretty cool. But Rafa is he's one of the head guides. He's really great.
Yeah.
And he's got some really good bonefish spots that none of the other guides know about even. So he's a good time to go with.
Yeah.
I think I might have landed my biggest.
Really?
Like that if you're
I didn't hear this.
I think so.
You didn't say this.
Oh.
I think
the
so.
bonefish
Yeah.
honestly are
Well, it wasn't.
bigger this year, and I honestly wonder if there's any correlation to, the decrease in traffic and tourism or fishing,
Right.
rather, from COVID. I mean, Danny was like, man, 2020 was like the best fishing we've ever had. He's like, nobody will ever know how good it is right now because it was just them. And I was like, that's good. I'm glad you got to experience it at least.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if that had an impact. But I mean, I definitely saw a lot
probably
bigger bonefish this year,
Oh, wow.
which is cool.
Fish had a bit of a break, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's basically that was my day 2. I just had just a blast with Mike. We were just doing the bonefish thing all day, and which I just walking the flat is just so much fun. So that was great. And then day 3, I was with Sean, and we started the day at the beach because the Sargasso gets pushed in with the wind, the is it Algiers a weed?
Sargasso's right. Sargasso's just like a seaweed grass that
kinda
gets
rolls
pushed in depending on, and it's gotten 2010 is what Rafa said is when it really started to get bad, but it's been getting worse and worse every year as the waters warm up. It creates these big blooms of it, and a lot of it comes from different areas, but some from the Bermuda Triangle, supposedly, where a lot of it gets, the long story short is, it gets pushed up from the winds and the warm water, and it's really bad because it releases that gas and it smells really bad. But,
Right.
It's a bit
it's
sulfuric.
weird because the tarpon like that for some reason,
But then the bones don't.
but it's hard on the, all the fish can live in it, but it is definitely takes away from a lot of the oxygen in the water. So if you're ever fighting a fish that is that tainted water from the Sargasso, you really want to try to get them out of it, or at least release them out of it in the fresher water, because it can be really hard to revive them in it. But that's hearsay, Nathan.
No, that's an important thing.
But I learned that from the
it's good to know.
guides too. So the guides all are really educated in all that, and they know, if you catch a tarpon in that water, they'll take the boat and jet it out, and they'll actually pull the tarpon on side of the boat, to get the fresh water through them to make sure, even if it's fine, they just like to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very important.
But then also, did you guys ever experience any bonefish having a heart attack when you're in the Bahamas?
No.
No, not the Bahamas.
Really?
Heart attack
No.
bonefish, no.
No.
It's pretty much you're fighting the bonefish, and everyone calls it them getting a heart attack. I have no idea if that's true, but it had happened to me where you're fighting it, and all of a sudden they just stop fighting, they just go stiff, and you just feel like you're stripping in a wet sock. and they're
Okay.
just like rigor mortis
Oh
stiff.
no.
And when I did it, like this was like a while ago. I don't remember, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but the guide was like, "Oh, he had a heart attack. Like he's gone." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "No." And I'm like too empathetic of a person, and so I just sat there for like 20 minutes, and the guide was just like, "Come on, we gotta go. Like no, like give it up, Kayla. Like he's gone." And I was like, "No."
Live,
And
damn
I just
it.
like kept like trying to wiggle him in the
CPR.
water, and he came back alive. He did come
And
back
swam off.
Oh.
And I looked at the guy and I was like, "See,
Yeah, so the
Hey.
fish doesn't die. It was just some weird paralysis thing.
I have no idea."
Hey, the goats.
It's like the goats.
Don't remind me of those
They
goats.
just
I'm gonna like
freeze
laugh.
up. Just lock up in the water.
Goats. Oh my god, those are the best creatures ever.
they're amazing.
freaking followed this like farm lady that all she does every day is just a video of her goats leaving the pen and then like just fainting every
Falling over and walking up.
Goats are hilarious, but yeah,
love 'em.
essentially same thing.
Wow, that's so crazy. I never knew
It
that
is
about
really
bonefish.
interesting. I've never really looked into it further, and that was my only experience with it. But the guide said it was a heart attack, and I was like, I don't know
It's a
about that.
heart
But
attack. Yeah. That's awesome.
I can bonefish kind of give me heart attacky vibes.
Oh yeah, they're so stressed out.
Like when you hook them, they're like,
And their little mouths, and they're really
they
freaked
can't
out.
so much. Our anxiety levels are, really being level
High.
in those bonefish. It's like, I got you,
Yeah.
bud. You're gonna
So-
be okay.
You're good. So, like Kayla mentioned, it might be bad for the oxygen, but tarpon can surface to breathe
Right.
because they're insane fish. And the guide I was with that day, Philly,
Yeah, Philly's
Right?
a great guide.
Yeah. So Philly was great. I was with Philly the third
Yeah.
day, and Sean, and he was explaining that the sargasso, although stains the water brown, but it brings in the shrimp and the tarpon
Yeah.
of the shrimp. So that's
Like
why
a
they
feeding
that's why they
frenzy,
hang out
and
in
they
it.
can
and-
like kind of become like, or at least not
Yeah.
seen as well. And so, as far as like predatory fish go, like that's like they love that shit.
That's cool.
We did find another much smaller pod than the first day with Kayla, and Sean was on the bow. But we were right on the beach, and the breakers were just
Right.
crazy. And like Sean did, like he fed a fish, like the fly landed in the water and the fish ate it, but there was just so much slack
Yeah.
from the waves that it's just
Blew it. Don't
And Sean's
lie.
like,
He blew it.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
He blew it.
Sean,
He blew it. Friend.
no,
He
he
did.
was fine.
Steelhead set on
Um,
a permit though, so
Oh yeah.
he got the award for that. Because like the steelhead here in the Northwest, when you're swinging for them, essentially you feel the tug, you let them pull line, and you don't do anything.
Right.
From there's some set to the bank, but moral of the story is you don't do anything. And he literally was fishing. I think it was with Casey, but a permit literally came, ate his fly, and he just didn't do anything at all. Just sat there, and they're like, "Set down, line." He just didn't do anything.
He's like, nope.
Oh no,
That's amazing. That would be me.
He's
Yeah.
literally like the most easy-go-lucky guy ever. He's just like, yeah, whatever. Like didn't even
Whatevs.
faze him.
That's awesome.
It was, but I thought it was
That was good.
hilarious. I was like,
That's so funny.
it's funny because he only steelhead fishes. Like
Right.
So like
we
Mitch.
barely ever do. So I was like, of course you'd be the one to not do anything.
God, gets a permit on his line and just freezes. I love it. So
Yep.
funny.
I love it. So he mentioned something like, "Oh, when I thought we coming down here, I pictured like walking flats and seeing things. We've always been on the boat." I was like, "Oh, you haven't done the flat walking?"
Yeah,
yet?"
it kind of depends on.
And he's like,
what-
"No," and I was like, "So that's what we did." I was like, "Oh, I love
Oh,
that
good.
fucking shit." So
I didn't know
we spent the whole day. We went into and I remember when I was walking the flats with Rafi, he was like, it was almost knee deep. And he's like, "Oh, it's a little too high," and I'm like, I mean, you know more than I do, but we were still seeing
Right.
tails. This day was like closer to ankle deep. We saw like 10 times
and
the
so
amount of
you
tails.
made it-
And I was like,
Yeah, that's why
"Oh, I
Rafa
get
wanted
it.
it, yeah.
I get it."
That is
Yeah,
like the
and
best
so-
ways. I mean, it's cool too because you're both
Well-
fishing most of the time.
Right.
At least.
Mhm.
It's
You're like in the water,
Yeah,
in the
no.
environment. It's cool.
Oh, and can we talk about the sandwiches?
Oh, come on, what kind of sandwich
The
we got
lunches were
they
sick.
were good. Yeah. Naughty
Oh,
does
yeah.
a real good
Lunches were
job
sick.
on all the food.
The breads is like
So good.
I've never had.
And I'm allergic to gluten, and I like prep myself for Ascension Bay trips because I know I'm gonna eat everything because it's not that bad. I just get a rash, I can live with it.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But my gosh, I didn't know if it was as good for me because I don't eat it regularly. So it's like maybe my senses are heightened or something because I don't get good bread like
Yeah.
this. But it's good. Yeah, the sandwiches
man.
are great.
Oh, so good.
Everyone was freaking
And
out
a half
about
liter of
the-
Mexican Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the Mexican.
Kayla, let me tell you, in Greece, the best bread.
Here we go.
Fuck you.
Nice.
I do believe that though.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
food,
that's
so
good.
I'm.
Especially on the water, like when you're fishing, like it makes.
I mean, I go
good diff.
so many days on the river where like we don't eat lunch at all, and we
Yeah.
just like shove our faces at 10 p.m. to make up for it.
Yeah.
And so it's so nice to like
Yeah.
fish like that
Yeah.
for a change. It's pretty great.
Love it.
And then I would say the last day.
Last year was,
Well, you spent day 3 with Paul.
yeah, we were
Paula,
in a
right?
storm. I mean,
Oh.
we had a great day. Like
Right.
I was, she's new to fly fishing a bit in general, and so I was teaching her double haul, and like we just had like a little girls' day. But it was great. I was glad I got to fish with her. And that is,
You got a pretty deep bang and jack.
yeah, I
there, too.
got
sweet.
I got like the one I landed was a nice jack, which people are those fish are so underrated. I don't like why they get such
Yeah, I
a
don't know
rap.
what's wrong with
I
that.
Like
lo-
I get it
Yeah.
that they eat a lot of flies. Like they definitely are more honest and willing to eat. But I mean, it's just like the same argument goes. Like, whitefish
How's that a bad
also
thing?
fight really hard and are
Yeah.
fun fish to catch. Like I think that they get their bad rap because they are easier to get to eat, but they
Right.
definitely I've never had
What
a
do you-
fish pull my line
Kayla,
so fast.
In terms of
Yeah.
between a jack and a bone, like what would you say eats more between the two species? Because I feel like they're
Jack.
similar. Jack, eh?
Yeah.
Jack.
I think it's Jack
Jack,
because Jack
100%.
like I really picture them just being like the little mafia of the flats. They just like they got
just
like
going
a
around.
brownie face. And they're just
Yeah.
they're just like they're mean guys and they'll just
Little
eat
bullies.
anything that moves. Anything that moves.
Anything.
Doesn't matter what
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Your line can move in front of them. They're just like, what the fuck is that? I'm gonna kill it. Like, they're just crazy. And
Yeah.
because and there's a lot of times when they're cruising the flats, from my experience, like I haven't seen them in the flats often. It's usually like deeper water where like maybe they're around structure or whatever, yada yada. But that experience was my first time seeing them on the flats, and man, that was cool because they go so fast. They're not like your normal fish where they're like in a like crew, maybe moving slowly and together. They're just like pew pew pew,
Just
like
whipping
looking
through.
for shit. And you're like, he can be, I don't know, like 10 feet to your right, and you can cast your fly to the left,
Okay.
and you make one strip, he's gonna see it and just freaking like a freight train T-bone your
Yeah.
fly, and it's the coolest thing ever to be able to see. I think that they are so cool, and
Yeah.
whoever's listening, if you've ever passed on a jack, like, please don't, because they are so fun.
Yeah, I don't get
You
that.
get it. They're
I get
so
that.
fun. I had the last one broke me off, and it was like 20-pound test, and he broke off because he pulled the line out of my reel so fast that essentially what happened was the backing, I probably like loosely reeled it in, like, if you know what I mean, like I probably
Yeah.
didn't have tension enough, and so there's probably a
Right.
little bit of looseness in it, and it pulled so fast that collapsed on itself and just completely
Oh, yeah.
like backlash
Locked
and
up.
stopped. And so I started to run after the fish. Like, really, Kayla? You think
That's
I'm here to run with the jacks? Like, no, not even close. That thing broke off within a second and
Yeah.
left me with like a destroyed, like we spent probably 30 minutes untangling that mess. And I was like,
Yeah.
joke's on me, that jack won. They're fun fish. They're very fun.
They're cool looking
fun
too.
fish.
I
Yeah.
think they're so cool looking.
Yeah.
They're like pearlescent. They're
Yeah.
so cool looking. I mean, they're cousins of GTs, so I don't get what
Right.
they're not to love.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, it's easy. That's probably haters.
Yeah, that
Haters.
is why, because they eat and they're honest, but they're not forgiving. They're still hard. Like when you get a big
They're
one,
strong,
right,
yeah.
they definitely will. They're
Yeah.
very, very, very strong. But I get, bonefish.
yeah.
Bonefish are just spookier than jacks. Like if you have that calm water, like maybe you land it too close to them.
That's true.
Sometimes they might just eat it. Sometimes they might spook though. And jacks, like I've never seen them spook. So obviously I know there's different fisheries. So I'm sure there's one person listening.
Right, sure.
I've spooked a jack before. But my experience, guy. Okay, Tony, calm down.
Kayla doesn't know what she's talking about.
Tony, come on, Tony.
Tony's got to
It's
chill.
always a Tony.
I love it.
But yeah, they're a good time.
Fun.
And that was kind of the my day 4, I did hook another permit and lost that
Nice.
one too. So that
Right
was
on.
fun.
I mean, that's overall
Mike?
pretty great. We had some, from me,
Yeah.
like, from your guys' standpoint on the trip, like, the crew, they probably didn't think that the weather was that bad. For me, that was the worst weather I've ever had on any of my trips before, but
I mean, the
it
weather was
wasn't that bad. It was just, like, I must have, knocked on wood, gotten real lucky because it's been, like, calm, flat, like, every day that I've gone for the last 6 years.
the wind, yeah.
Which is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, the wind was ripping, but I just kind of attribute that to that's just how the ocean is,
Yeah.
just in wind. Mike on the last day also caught and jumped a 40-pound tarpon, and I was in the water with the guide, so seeing it from that perspective
That's cool.
was
That's
wild.
pretty cool.
Because we had been seeing so many barracuda, and we hooked a few, so our big 11 weight was rigged as a barracuda rod. So all we had for permit was the baby permit rod, which was the 9 weight, and it only had 20-pound test on it. But the guy was like, just whatever, like it's either cast to it now or or don't, kind of thing. And yeah, he nailed the cast, nailed the set. This thing ate, like he said, it ate just like big tarpon mouths are,
Sucked it right in.
engulfed the fly.
They're so lovely.
And yeah, the thing just fucking skied itself, like.
That's sick.
And I was just in the.
I
I was just standing in the water because I'd just been chasing a
If it would have
bonefish.
been the right setup with the right leader, the fish probably wouldn't.
He would have landed it. Would have landed it,
Or
no
it
problem.
wouldn't have made
And
at
it would have
all.
been like
it's
amazing.
Like how what is it? Murphy's
Oh,
Law
that's
or
true.
whatever. Like
Right.
of course he ate right away and is the perfect cast with the wrong setup. Like that's how it goes always. But that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's
to
how
see
it
that
goes,
is pretty
yeah.
awesome though. I love tarpon. Tarpon
It
are
was-
so fun.
I love tarpon. It's
So
amazing.
cool looking.
So that was cool. But the best part about the last day, though, is like we have this little tradition of going to what's it called?
And I will be transparent. I don't know. From my experience, it doesn't sound like this is on every trip, so it could be something that I just like
Kayla
coerced
special?
Danny into doing. But we come back after we're all done fishing, and we'll come back. Well, hopefully we'll come back earlier because we usually come back at like 4. So we'll try to come back at 3, and people stay in. You like shove appetizers down your throat, and then you pretty much get ready to get back on the boats again. But we take 2 boats out, and we all pile in the boats. Like everyone, like any guides that want to come fish. Danny comes to fish, like obviously all of us. And we go to the Paraiso Island, is what it's called, and it's essentially like a hidden little flat that's surrounded by mangroves and stuff. And so a lot of the shrimp, if the tides are right, will push in, and the bonefish will also push in because a lot of the bigger predators can't access it there because the low tide is too low with those flats. And so it's like they all feel safe, they're all happy, and permit will come in there too sometimes. But yeah, we just like park the 2 boats. We have 2 coolers full of beer, like a Bluetooth speaker playing music, and we all are just fishing. Some people are hanging at the boat, just drinking, having a good time. Some people are like walking the flats looking for bonefish.
That's cool.
Carlos, one of the guides, like he took our rod and just like beelined it specifically to a spot. Like you knew that he knew exactly where to go. Like this was not radio.
He got 17 fish.
Yeah, he was just
Wow.
like every time I looked, he was just ping, ping.
He's like,
ping,
see ya.
ping.
Yeah.
And then the real highlight was Mike just charging at the school of bonefish.
They're all spooking away from him. We're like,
Sprint, like just boosh, 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 like the flashes. It's just like calm, flat, ankle deep
Yeah.
water.
And he's sprinting at this
And we're
school.
all like, but I think they might hear you.
It might be spooking there.
But it's just fun because we're all just
was
yelling
awesome.
at each other. Like,
Yeah.
it's the best way to end the trip because you don't get to fish with everyone. Like,
Yeah.
it's just how it works. We're only 4 days,
Yeah.
10 people, and you'd never get to fish with everyone at once, which is it's pretty great to be able to just walk around, have a beer in one hand, like catching bones in the other. Danny's catching fish. The guides are catching fish. It's pretty great.
That's cool.
Oh yeah,
there's
there's
a
my
picture
Boney.
right there.
Clay
Oh.
took
Nice.
such a nice photo.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Clay was taking some nice pictures.
Great
yeah.
shot.
It's just nice, sunset, glassy
Yeah.
water.
It's
and
really,
beers
yeah.
and-
That
a really
sunset
nice way to
was
wrap
just
the whole thing
epic.
up,
It was so beautiful. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure they all are, but there was just like being on that calm water and the reflection.
Easy casting too.
Yeah.
No wind.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, that's always nice too.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it was a heck of a trip. And
It was.
yeah, Kayla, if people want to take this trip like next year, like what do they do if they want to come along?
Let's see, what is the best way? All right, there's only like a 6-month course you have to take. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I guess the easiest way is just going to my Instagram and sliding into those DMs.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, great.
when you see the trip posted. Or, yeah, I mean, we'll put Ascension Bay Lodge in the
course,
show
yeah.
notes. I'm on their website right now, and a lot of the pictures are from the pre-reno lodge.
Yes,
So,
Danny. So I will let everyone know if you go to his website, it's legit. First of all,
Yeah.
it's a real place.
Yeah.
But he's not very, he just he's very content with his his program he's got that stuff that carries a lot of weight to maybe some people that own a lodge doesn't carry weight to him because it's just he's got a good program, so obviously he doesn't need to invest a lot in getting more people to come because he's got a good thing going. But it's
I love it.
Its website, Kayla's website is so beta that it's cool. You know?
Okay, you get it. I was trying to get that to translate, but I didn't know how to. But yeah, I mean, he's generally the person that comes when somebody that's they just don't care, but in an endearing way, not in I don't care selfish way, but it's that way. He's
I get
this is it, this is great, and honestly, that kind of style is back in. So
It is.
he waited long enough to now it's back in.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It's cool.
yeah.
I got some cool stickers.
the
I
place
have
is
to send you guys some.
completely-
Casey made these. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Those
Those
are
are
really
cool.
Backwards, but it says Dead Men See No Tails.
See no
and,
tails.
when I ordered
That's
them,
awesome.
though, I meant to order them to bring to Danny's Lodge, but the shipping didn't come in time. But I ordered them thinking they were normal size stickers. I don't know if you can see how tiny these are.
Oh, they're small little ones. Yeah.
They're tiny. When I opened them, I was like, "Oh, these are the size of a quarter." Cool, Kayla. Good job. Good job. I just
Love it.
Unless you have large
I just
hands,
saw-
and then we don't really know.
could be either way.
Cool.
We'll say large
Amazing.
hands, so
Could
then
be either
people
way.
can just think that every fish photo is just ginormous. Then.
Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah,
Well, yeah,
people can go to ascensionbaylodge.com or on
Yeah.
their Instagram. Danny, also, you can just get a trip through him, but also I host once a year, maybe more, who knows? I mean,
Who
see where
knows?
things go. Yeah.
Yeah.
See where things
I
go.
love it
for
down there.
sure. But yeah, if that's a full seal of approval.
yeah, I have
Sounds amazing. Sounds
Definitely.
amazing.
To be transparent, I'm definitely going to invite the crew back. So you'll have first dibs if you need it, Aldo, and Elma
Okay,
and
right
Mitch.
on.
If you guys
I'm down.
can, it's April
Yeah.
10th next year is what we
Sweet.
decided.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Sounds like we should totally find a way to do that. Sounds like an incredible place, and photos look amazing, and
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
It's great.
I love it.
Oh yeah, food's amazing, fish is
So,
amazing.
what more do you
Got
need?
everything
know?
you need, yeah.
I love it.
And
Well,
definitely practice your dart throwing because Arturo and Danny are just nobody has
Super
beat them yet.
darts.
Somebody needs to beat them. Maybe
Aldo didn't beat 'em?
shark dart players out there. No,
I'm not good at darts. I don't play
Yeah,
darts. I don't know.
don't give yourself no credit.
put yourself down now.
You got some points. I've been practicing though.
I thi-
I love it.
I think you're being a little. You've been, yeah. I'm okay.
I gotta see Aldo's dart plan. I've never seen Aldo play darts. We gotta get the dart.
I don't play darts. That's why you've never
Sounds
seen
like you're quite the dart
No,
player.
he was crushing it.
I heard he's quite the dart player.
I said,
Amazing.
soccer though, you're crushing it.
I love it.
Oh yeah, we played soccer with a bunch of kids.
That
one night.
was fun. I did a little Punta Ellen tour of the town, and these kids were there with Rafa, and a couple of them were his sons, and I was like, "Oh, are you guys gonna be hanging out?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll be here. We'll wait for you." And I was like, "Okay, we're just gonna go eat, and we'll come back. You'll be here." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll wait for you." So we eat, and I'm like, "Oh, Rafa's waiting. We gotta go back. I mean, he seems like a man of his word. If he's gonna wait for us, he's gonna wait for us." So we get there, and he's gone, of course. But this crew of kids were all there. And we were like, "Do you want to play volleyball or do you want to play football or soccer?" And they're like, "Football," because they knew they were good. And Casey, Clay, did you used to play soccer, Aldo? So
Yep.
We had quite a few people that used to play soccer. Not a chance. No, sports, nope, not me. So I picked the kids team. So it was all of the crew that was staying with us and fishing on one team, and then all of the little niños, and then me.
Niños, love it.
And so I mean, I won. I wouldn't say that it was because of me, but those kids were real good. But it was also
I was
20
dying.
kids against 10 adults. So
I was done out of shape adult.
they were
So
really
it's
good.
just
They were just talking shit to us. That was honestly one of the most fun I've ever had, was playing that game.
was pretty fun.
With the kids. But it was funny because Pedro and Philly and you just see people around the town just suddenly coming to watch this town, and Pedro's like, "I could hear you guys from my house." And so I walked over here to see what was happening.
The commotion. Yeah. The big game. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that sounds like an
Well, next
incredible
time.
trip, and we'll put the links.
I'm coming.
Put the
Next
links in the show
time.
notes.
Yeah, 100%.
Hell yeah,
100%.
absolutely. But it was good to just hear about the trip and come along for the post journey. And good to see you again
I
too,
gotta
Kayla.
relive it a bit with you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for inviting me
Yeah.
back. It's always nice to
Our
come
pleasure.
and chat with you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
I gotta next travel, make it to your way and come fish your guys'
Yeah.
waters.
That'd be awesome. You gotta come up here.
Pike.
Go fish or
Pike.
something, Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Minnesota, so I love
Yeah.
Pike. Love
Yeah.
Pike. Love it. So you don't have to convince me more. But also, Toronto just looks like a really cool city to even come visit. And
It's true. Just go fish the credit,
Yeah.
honestly. We'll just go fish brown trout and
Yeah, or just come hang out
Go
in
eat
Toronto.
tacos.
The summer in Toronto is super
It
fun.
is.
beers and stuff. It'd be awesome.
okay,
No
then.
doubt. And we could do a live show. That'd be fun.
That would be super fun. Little,
Yeah.
little fishing,
Absolutely.
little food, little party. I'm definitely down.
Boom. Amazing.
Little shopping.
Okay.
All right.
Sold.
Well,
Done.
sold.
Done.
Well, you're in Portland,
Well, thanks,
so I don't know
Kayla.
if the
And,
shopping would be better here, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, true.
But my dollar's better there. So
That's true.
There's that.
Oh, that's
True.
a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
You guys have a lot of
Yep,
good vintage
that's
stores
true.
there too. I've
Yeah.
been following.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good vintage scene.
Yeah, that is true. Good
Well,
vintage
it's so,
scene. Kayla, is there anything you want to where can people find your stuff, or is there a project you're working on that people should pay attention to? Any shameless promotion you want to do
Yes,
before
I
we
actually always have a
wrap
shameless
this up?
promotion if it's available. Is the Mayfly
Yeah.
Project? Big advocate for them. Teaching kids in foster care how to fly fish means a lot to me. You can mentor, volunteer time. You can donate gear. You can also just donate cash if that's your way of life. But yeah, it's just mayflyproject.com. They are still not at the level where you can swipe up for their videos, so follow them on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You
yeah.
swipe up the link, you have to hit a threshold.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're amazing. That project is amazing, and they actually, I believe, have a project in Canada now, but don't quote me.
Oh, sweet.
Oh.
I don't think it's in Toronto though. And honestly, it was in Vancouver, but yeah, it's a great nonprofit. But yeah, that's my only shameless plug.
Wicked. We'll put the links to all that in the show notes, of course, for everybody to check out.
I want to
and,
do it.
Amazing. Yeah, Kayla. Thanks. Thank you
I feel
so
like that's
much for
the
coming.
shameless plug emoji, the little girl with
The hands.
Yeah.
the little things.
The little halo, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, thank
All
you
right,
guys
Kayla. Well,
for your
thank you.
time. I know it's really late for you guys, so I appreciate it.
Oh no, appreciate you coming on, and
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Night.
All right. Well, take care.